Well, good morning. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. So glad to have you with us. My little garden has given me lots of green beans right now, and I usually can some, but this time I'm going to make leather britches. This is an old method for preserving green beans, and I'm going to try it and show it to you. This video is part 1 of 2. I'm going to hang them today. And then in about 3 weeks, I will cook them for you, and then I'll combine the 2 videos. If you subscribe and click the little bell icon, you'll get a notice when I post it. Now let's get cooking. These are my lovely Provider bush beans. They look really good. You know, I grow an organic garden. I don't use any pesticides. I have actually very few bugs after several years of using no pesticides. So I get a good many, and I'm going to preserve some. I have a big needle here with a big hole, and I am using crochet thread. Just regular thread is pretty easy to break, but this is crochet thread. Any sturdy thread or cord or fishing line will work. You just want to make sure that it is strong enough that it doesn't break, because these are kind of heavy to start with. Now you want to check your beans to see if they need to be strung, if you need to pull off any strings. I've done a little bit with these beans, and they've not had strings before. Nothing big. And you really do need to string them, because they're going to dry and those strings will just get hard and sticky. You want to break off both ends. A lot of folks don't know that the blossom end on many vegetables has an enzyme that can cause things to get mushy and go bad. So you want to make sure you break off the blossom end. But I always break off both ends anytime I'm doing beans. So just break them off. If you see a little string as you go, make sure you take it off. And I'll just break a few here just to get it started. Now I washed them really good, because they had some grass on them from where the grass was cut. And then I rolled them up in this towel, dried them really good, rolled them up in this towel to make sure they got good and dry. And then I left them drying. I picked some of them last night and some of them this morning. Just left them in the towel until they were good and dry. You do want to wash them, because you won't get to wash them later. So I'm taking these bean sections, and you can either do the whole bean or you can break them. And I just went ahead and broke them. Some of these are fairly long beans. So run the needle and thread through the first one. Then I'm going to wrap the thread around it a couple times. This is going to form our base. And when I get a little loop there, I'm going to run the needle and thread back through it to make a good knot. You want this first one seated pretty sturdy, and you want to use a good size strong bean, because this is your base. And then just pull it up kind of tight. See, that'll keep them all from falling off the end. This is double thread. Double all the way. Now the rest of this is pretty simple. You just run the needle through and pull it down. You don't necessarily have to pull them down really tight. You do want a little airflow. But as long as you just don't pack them, there'll be enough airflow for them to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and break these and string them up. And then I'll be back. So I've gotten these strung, and I've left the thread long enough at the top to tie it off and give me some thread for hanging it. So I'll just cut this needle off, and then I'm going to tie a good strong knot at the end. Now you can hang this over a hanger and put it in a closet or over a hook. You're going to hang these somewhere out of direct sunlight, because the sunlight will bleach them out totally white. And they'll be very, very light at the end anyway. See, it got me a little hook there. Let me pull it up so you can see it. like that. Make sure it stays. And this being crochet thread, it's pretty sturdy. And what I've got on here is about enough for one meal for 2 people. I remember seeing these when I was growing up, and I have eaten them a couple of times as a child, but hardly anybody does it anymore. I found this in the Foxfire books, and if you've never read through the Foxfire books, you really should. If you like the old ways at all, if you want to learn to preserve old skills, that's a great resource. So I've done the rest of these. I'm going to hang them over a flower pot hook in my dining room where I hang garlic and herbs to dry. And when I pick beans tomorrow, I'm going to do another string and hang them in my closet where it's nice and dark, because I'm interested to see the difference in how they turn out if you leave them in the light or in the dark. My house is air conditioned, so the humidity is low. When I was a kid, sometimes people hung these outside under a covered porch or in a shed. I don't have that, and I really think I'd prefer to have them inside anyway, free from critters. These should be dry in 2 to 3 weeks, and I'll come back when they're dry and show you how to cook them. But basically, you rehydrate them in water overnight and then rinse them and season them and cook them for several hours for really old-timey green beans. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. Hope you try this. Hope you like it. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.